to Gav Goes In. And you know what? Big up to Lumi. Big up. You know why I'm laughing, yeah? Because when I said the other day, Manchester United, I said Chelsea beat Man United 2-0, and I fully believe that. I thought 2-0, Chelsea, I was thinking, yeah, I didn't really see United. I couldn't really see United scoring a goal. And I believe that, they would have definitely won the game 2-0. And this is what I mean about football. Ruben Amorim on the brink. And big up to Red Lighties as well. You know what? You have to laugh. If you don't laugh, man, you'll cry because Amorim's on the brink. And I said definitely, this was his penultimate game. Because I said, if Amorim doesn't win this game, then I think it could be a case of Brentford and Sunderland sealing the fate. And guys, I'm still going to stick by what I'm saying. I still believe, the Sunderland and Brentford game, if he doesn't get a positive result in them games, which when I'm saying positive results, I'm saying he has to win. I'm still going to say, I wonder if they still pull the plug, Ineos, But I think what we have to say now is he has survived. So as you guys can see in the title, he has survived another game because, even though we was told 3 games that he's got, I thought if they would have lost this game, and not even heavily, I would have said they could have pulled the plug. Monday morning could have been the case where they relieved Amorim of his duties, in my opinion. I think now we have to say the Brentford game away from home is not going to be easy. So I think we have to say that's the game that I'll be looking forward to seeing what's actually going on. Big up to Chris and Mark. Yeah, big up, my guy. Big up for coming through each and every time. Yeah, weekend's been okay so far. Obviously still got another Sunday to go. But yeah, big up for coming on. Yeah, as I said, man, I said 2-0 and I got it wrong. But as we all know, this game changed, was it the sixth minute when Robert Sanchez got sent off? And let's get it right, yeah? That keeper, Robert Sanchez, yeah, is an absolute calamity. Robert Sanchez has been a calamity ever since he came through the door at Chelsea. And that decision from him to take out Mbeumo is arguably what cost Chelsea the game. Because when the game's so early like that, yeah, you have to sometimes, there's a saying that Roy Keane says, yeah? Roy Keane says you have to take your medicine. And what he means by that, when Mbeumo's going through on goal, Robert Sanchez should have thought to himself, look, this is 6 minutes into the game. If he goes through, he could miss, you never know. Or one of his defenders could actually get a block in. Or worse comes to worse, Mbeumo scores. For him to make the decision, Robert Sanchez, and take out Mbeumo, some people might say it's harsh, but that's what I mean by having composure, and that's what I mean by stupidity. Because the fact that he took out Mbeumo and gave the referee a decision to make is ultimately what cost Chelsea the game. Because from then, Chelsea had to make the 2 subs in taking off Esteval and taking off Pedro Neto. And obviously Cole Palmer come off injured as well. And again, this is what I'm trying to say, man. This is what I'm trying to say. When you get people like that, when you get keepers like that, they are going to cost you more games than anything, And the fact that he took out Mbeumo, he cost Chelsea the game. He did. He cost Chelsea the game. He should have just let Mbeumo go through and then see, what happens after that. But he's cost Chelsea the game, and then United were always, gonna press home that advantage. And again, that's where the 2 goals came from, with Chelsea being down to 9 men, really. To 10 men, sorry. And again, I'll tell you what was concerning, yeah? Because United done their work in the first half. Obviously, Casemiro got sent off. But what I find a bit concerning from Man United is that when they went down to 10 against 10, there was no goal from United, you know, and Trevor Chalobah scored from the corner, well from Reece James's cross. And then you get the goal that Wesley Fofana had disallowed as well. And that's what I found concerning, that when United went down to 10 versus 10, there was no goal coming from them, you know. So I think that could be a problem, you know, going forwards. But as I said, man, Ruben Amorim has survived today. You know, he has survived, and I just hope that we don't get people coming in and saying, you know, Ruben Amorim now deserves more time, because that could be this could be the defining moment for me in terms of what Ineos are actually going to do with this manager, because I don't care about this. I don't care United won this game, you know, because let's face it, this game was turned on its head by that Robert Sanchez dreadful decision. Now we have to see what happens against Brentford away from home, because that won't be easy. You know, that won't be easy. Brentford have already shown at home against Chelsea really as well that, you know, they can cause problems. So as I said, yeah, I think it's very important to keep, you know, the standards high. You know, I don't really want to see any fans coming on there saying Amorim deserves more time, because this is the same mistake that, you know, a lot of fans made with Ten Hag before Ten Hag had to go. You know, so I think, as I said, it's important that we kind of just look at this Ruben Amorim and this game today as a one-off, because it wasn't a great game in terms of quality. You know, as I said, the game was turned on its head by the sending off. You know, but guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of today's game. Let me know if you think there's any standout performers. Let me know if you think if Amorim got away with one today, because I think he was very fortunate. You know, because as I said, when they went down to 10 versus 10, you know, it was more of an even game. You know, and Chelsea, you know, took off a lot of their attackers. If you think of Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer and William Esteval all coming off that pitch, and they only had João Pedro really as an out-and-out attacker. You know, who's to say if they kept more of their forwards on the pitch, they might have, you know, got an equaliser in the end. You know, so again, yeah, a lot of these things are gonna play into it. Again, Fulham are playing Brentford now, so I think the next game against Brentford is not going to be easy. And as I said, yeah, it's a one-off game for me. Chris Mark says, I did say Chelsea are a keeper and a world-class centre-back away from picking up silverware. I definitely do think Chelsea have missed the trick on a goalkeeper, because, again, I'm no Chelsea fan, but I can assure you a lot of Chelsea fans are not confident with this Robert Sanchez in goal, because whenever Sanchez has the ball at his feet, you know, you're not sure what he's going to do. He takes too long to get the ball out of his feet as well. And as I said, you can't be confident with this Robert Sanchez in goal. And, you know, the fact that Donnarumma went to Man City, you know, the fact that they didn't really go all out and go and get Mike Maignan as well, I think this could be a problem for Chelsea, because there has been some games where Sanchez has done well, but let's be honest, he's a problem for them, and he was the defining factor in this game as to why Chelsea lost this game. Because I do believe if Chelsea had, you know, 11 versus 11, I do believe Chelsea win the game. But again, United getting the much needed 3 points, as what Chris Marcus said, and again, yeah, that's the most important thing. So I thought Chelsea was going to sign Donnarumma instead of going to City. To be honest with you, I think once City made their interest known, I think it was always going to be City, really. You know, once there was talk about Ederson going to Turkey, I think Donnarumma was the obvious one. I think a lot of people were thinking, you know, Donnarumma's not a Pep kind of goalkeeper. But when you get a goalkeeper of that stature, of that quality, you know, I think sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and just go and get that player. And what a difference he's made so far for Chelsea, for Man City. You know, Man City haven't conceded a goal yet. You know, they got Arsenal tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, listen, I understand, man. Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea are still short in my opinion in terms of quality players. But as I said, they have to look at their keeper and think, how he's made that decision has really cost them, and that's the issue. But in terms of the game itself, and the performances, I mean, again, it was a weird game because I don't think there was anyone that was a standout. His decision. I mean, even the lineup today, yeah, that lineup was 1 second, guys. Is the stream going fine? I'm not sure what Chris and Mark's saying there. Chris, what's going on, man? You're saying shut the stream down. What's up? The stream working fine on my end. Guys, give me a thumbs up if the stream's fine. Give me a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up if you let me know if the stream's all right. And guys, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. Even the lineup that Amorim played, I was thinking to myself, even the Ahmad and Mbuemo in the 10s, I mean, that's a problem. Again, we spoke about this before, Ahmad's playing as a left 10, and Ahmad naturally wants to drift out to the left because he's left-footed. Mbuemo's a winger and naturally wants to drift out wide, which again is leaving space in the middle. I thought Sesko had a decent game. I think what's a problem is that when you've got a striker like Sesko, again, your strikers are not getting any chances to thrive off, and this is why I'm trying to say to you guys, even though United, now listen, Chrism, if people want to come in the chat and chat shit, you know what I mean, then listen, I haven't got to read out their nonsense, put it that way, man. Obviously, I'm aware of the guy that's talking shit in there, but again, if he's to see each other face to face, it'll be a different story. So, you know what I mean? People can come in there and talk shit. My mods will do the job. But big up anyway, Chrism. Yeah, don't worry, man. We'll do this stream, man. It's cool. Don't worry. So yeah, as I said, the lineup he played today was an absolute joke, in my opinion. To play Ahmad and Mbuemo again, two left-footed players in the 10, and we spoke about the problems there. Sesko, I thought, was good, but there's no chances being created for the striker yet again. And this is why I think United were fortunate today to get away with one. The back three, guys, I got the back three right. I said Harry Maguire was going to play. I definitely knew Maguire was going to play because this manager doesn't cease to amaze. And as I said, I think if you're looking at Lenny Yoro on the bench, look how good Lenny Yoro's been, and this manager doesn't think twice to drop Lenny Yoro. And obviously I knew Maguire was going to play De Ligt and Shaw, and look at that. Luke Shaw again, as I mentioned, guys, Luke Shaw's come from nowhere, being out injured. Hasn't been great this season, but yet, keeps his place. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. It's crazy, man. Scott Bramwell says, we played good, brother. Again, Scott, man, I'm not quite sure what game you saw, but you have to take into account the fact that United were playing against 10 men, and in that second half, that was an even game. So, again, Man United got the win, fair enough, whether it was fortunate or not. But when people start saying United played well, this is the problem. This is why the standards are at an all-time low, because if you think United played well, then there's a loss around the corner, because United didn't play well. They played against 10 men for the majority of the first half. And then, as I said, when it went 10 versus 10, Chelsea, again, you have to realise, take this into account, yeah? Chelsea were always chasing the game because they were behind. So, again, Chelsea always had an uphill task, They took off all their attack apart from João Pedro. So, a lot of the time, he was doing a lot of the work on his own. And then, again, they're chasing the game. So, United were always going to be in the ascendancy because, as I said, they had more attackers on the pitch. They were playing against 10 men for the majority of the game. And then, as I said, they were in the lead. So they were always in the driving seat. But let's not get carried away and start saying United played well, because this is the problems that, you know, we've made throughout the years, you know. And as I said, man, it's just it's a win, but let's just say it was one they got away with, in my opinion. So Chris Mark says Casemiro is a legend. Yeah, listen, Casemiro always pops up with a goal, man. He does. The guy always pops up with a goal in the end, and as I said, man, he's a big game player, Casemiro. Obviously, his decision when he got sent off, you know, that was poor from him. You know, as someone of his experience should know, you know, being on a yellow card, any kind of challenge like that, you're gonna get sent off. So, as I said, man, he made a dumb decision by doing that. But in the end, you know, his goal is the one that got United over the line in the end. You know, big up to Buckwheat. Buckwheat says, Amorim football is dreadful. 11 against 10 seemed to be a struggle. Chelsea was there for goals, but Amorim, I think, won't last until Christmas. Yeah, big up to Buckwheat. And as I said, Buckwheat, man, when Chelsea went down to 10 men, you wouldn't have known who was having the 10. You wouldn't have known if that game was 11 versus 10, because that was a very even game. And then again, when Casemiro got sent off, you know, as I mentioned, Chelsea were always chasing the game, but it was more of an even game. It was, you know, and yeah, I think when you're struggling to more or less convincingly beat a team 11 versus 10, you know, it's not great, put it that way. But again, let's look forward to the Brentford and to the Sunderland game, because I did say the 3 games, if he didn't win this game against Chelsea, then the game against Brentford and Sunderland is a must win. I think the fact that he's beaten Chelsea, albeit, you know, against 10 men which was a massive turning point. I think the Brentford game, you know, he has to avoid defeat for that one, and then the Sunderland one he has to win at home. So yeah, I'm gonna say Brentford and Sunderland, he has to avoid defeat to stop the pressure, in my opinion. But again, it's all gonna be on Ineos really to see what their thinking is, because if they think this is acceptable, you know, and the fact that, you know, United get and again, I'm gonna say a lucky 2-1, because the luck is because Chelsea just had a dumb goalkeeper that made that decision, which cost them the game. Because as I said, 11 versus 11, I think the game at best for United ends a draw. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say anyway, you know. Big up to Mike. Mike says Ruben's safe for now. I'm curious to see if he can keep the wins up. Well, again, Mike, let's just say the Brentford game won't be easy away from home, you know, because I think when you've got a team that don't really create chances, you know, if you look at the 2 goals, you know, both goals come from, well, Patrick Dorgu's header into the box, and Bruno Fernandes done well to meet it. You know, it looked offside, but he just timed his run well. And then you look at the Casemiro goal, the header. I mean, that is concerning to think that United are not really creating any clear-cut opportunities. And again, we can only look at the system for this. You know, I don't think it's a personnel problem. I think it's a system problem. This system, and again, as we spoke about, you know, the other day about Amorim's Sporting Lisbon teams, when they outperformed their XG by 24 or 25 goals, that tells you everything, that this system just doesn't work properly, you know. And again, people are going to be getting carried away thinking United won the game, what you're talking about. But again, when United do lose the game, do not be surprised, because I saw enough in that game, you know, to know that, yeah, United have quality players. They do. Cunha, Mbuemo, Ahmad, you know, there is quality players there. But ultimately, you know, is it going to be good enough in the long run under Ruben Amorim? And the answer for me is no. So, yeah. Chrism says, I think you should have done the watch along too, bro. I think you missed the trick. Come rain or shine, we watch our teams. I promise the subs will rise, as some people are cheesed with certain Goldbridge opinions. Yeah, big up Chrism, man. But Yeah, listen, man, I had things to do, so I couldn't do the watch along. But yeah, listen, I will definitely do a watch along again. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I couldn't do one today, man, because I had a few things to do. But as I said, man, yeah, there will be more coming back for sure, for sure. Again, Goldbridge's opinions, I don't give a damn what that guy says, man. Like, again, he's got his own channel. You know, he has his own opinions. I have mine. It is what it is, man. But yeah. My major problem is the manager plays so negative after 10 man down. He should have put more attacking players. And again, Mike, this is the problem, you know. When he took off Sesko, you know what a dumb move that is, yeah? Because what that tells the opposition is that you're looking to defend. You know, when you take off an attacker, you know, it tells the other team you are looking to hold on. And the problem is United had the cushion of the 2-goal lead. But that could have all gone wrong because, again, Chalobah got the goal. Wesley Fofana's one was offside. They had the one where Reece James put in another ball in, you know. But again, on a different day, you know, that probably drops to a Chelsea player, you know, perfectly. And then they put it in the back of the net. And again, you know, when you're taking off an attacker, like Sesko as a striker, you're going to invite pressure. To think that Joshua Zirkzee got no minutes as well is a disgrace. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, I like Cunha. I do like Cunha, yeah. But to think that Cunha's just come back off injury, and guys, I think people need to be aware, yeah, that we've got a player in Joshua Zirkzee that this manager just does not rate. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. This manager just doesn't like ability, doesn't like talent, yeah? Because to think that Cunha and Mason Mount have both been injured and they've both come back onto the pitch and Sesko and Zirkzee got no minutes. Like, this is why I want this manager gone. The manager's an absolute dickhead, man, for doing that. He's got no respect, really, towards players. I mean, how you can bring on Mason Mount and bring on Cunha, who just come back from injury, and then Zirkzee gets no minutes whatsoever. Like, that's an absolute joke, man. And if I'm Zirkzee, you know, I'm just like, not only am I questioning the future at the club, but I'm having a word with Ineos and just seeing what the fuck is going on, because to be honest with you, that was an absolute joke that actually happened. And people might say they were down to 10 men, etc., and you might need Mason Mount's legs. That's bullshit. There's no reason why Zirkzee didn't come on that pitch. And as I said, when you take off an attacker like a striker like Sesko, you invite pressure. And that's why I'm saying this manager got away with it today. They were lucky. Big up to Leanne Cutter. Yeah, big up Leanne Cutter for coming through each and every time. Lad, you just been called a racist word and your mod's not banning him. Yeah, listen. Listen, if they wanna talk shit, listen, I got thick skin, man. So these kind of comments don't really bother me, to be honest with you. These people that are doing it, you know, they're probably low lifes, not really got much going on in their own life. And obviously they're coming onto my stream and they're watching me. So as I said, man, it's just words. It's just words. If it was in person, it'll be a different kind of energy for them. You know what I mean? So as I said, these people coming on just talking shit, it don't really bother me, man. I got thick skin, man. You know, I've had worse and I will continue to get worse. And again, people that are talking shit, you know, put it this way. If I wasn't getting criticism or getting, you know, negative words, it means I ain't doing something right. So that's how I look at it. So, you know what I mean? These people got no faces, you know, and they're just talking shit, you know, probably just in their mum's bedroom or something like that, just typing away, talking nonsense. So, unfortunately, this is the kind of people you get. Big up to Lumi as well. Big up, Lumi. Yeah, you were right, Lumi. And again, you know what? It's kind of pissing me off because you told me 3-0 Arsenal against Forest, and that happened. You told me Chelsea would win the game, and I'm starting to think, man, you're a hindrance now in terms of predictions. So, yeah, listen, it's annoying. But, nah, big up yourself each and every time for coming through. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. Big up yourselves. Big up to the Notorious A's, says, congratulations on your Man United victory. Yeah, listen, man. Man United getting the 3 points, that was the main thing for me, you know. Again, I'm not gonna divert away from the fact that this manager has to go. You know, my energy for this manager still remains the same. But in terms of the club, the 3 points was the most important thing because Man United came into this game today in 17th position, which is unacceptable. So I think now they're ninth. You know, I think someone mentioned they're above City or something like that. But again, that means nothing because it's still early days. Guys, bear me 1 minute. Yeah, so it's still early days. So but yeah, that 3 points was much needed, man, and that's the main thing. So but again, can United do it again against Brentford and then Sunderland coming up? And then as we know, after that game, it's Liverpool. So again, these games are coming thick and fast. So Ruben Amorim's got nowhere to hide. But I think we have to say today, he has survived. He has survived today to the next game. But again, you know, let's just see what happens. Because if he doesn't beat Brentford, we're going to be back to square one. So we'll have to wait and see. Big up to me, says, Minu got a whole mighty 4 minutes, bro. Yeah, listen, it's quite obvious, me, yeah, that this manager does not rate Xerxes, does not rate Kobbie Mainoo. You know, he doesn't rate it. He's giving Kobbie Mainoo pitiful minutes. You know, it's an absolute disgrace. You know, as I said, Xerxes been fit, yeah. Cunha and Mason Mount have just returned from injury, and those two come on the pitch, and Xerxes nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? This man just an absolute disgrace for doing that. And as you said, me, he does still need to go because that wasn't a great performance. You know, if anyone's coming on there saying to me that it's a great performance, you're either not a Man United fan or you're just doing too much for the manager, because the standards need to be higher, man. And that wasn't a great performance. Let's be honest. Let's be happy that United got 3 points, but in terms of the performance, yeah, it wasn't great. Lumi says Bruno was good today. I mean, what do we deem as good? You know, when people come on and say this player played well, this player was good, I always like to know what do people deem as being good. You know, so again, big up yourself, Lumi, because you always come in with the good comments and the questions. But let me know what you mean by Bruno being good, because a lot of people deem Bruno being good because he got a goal, and I think that's where people are alluding to. And for me, Bruno just had a Bruno game, you know, not really much going on, but got a goal. You know what I mean? And he does this all the time. So I'm not going to sit here and say he was good because, not to mention, it was down to 10 men as well. I think with Bruno, as we know, Bruno's a tryhard. You know, Bruno will run all day for you. You know what I mean? He's one of them kind of players. So I think people confuse the fact that he works hard in being actually effective. You know, a lot of these pundits, a lot of these, you know, you had to listen to Clinton Morrison, an absolutely clueless pundit, telling us that Bruno Fernandes is Man United's best player. Again, this guy doesn't watch Man United. So, you know, these kind of people are just talking nonsense. But again, Bruno was okay, and he got a goal. It's a Bruno performance that I've seen all too many times. So yeah, I don't think really there was anyone that really stood out for me, if I'm honest. You know, even down to 10 men, Amorim still had back 5 in the midfield 2. Yeah, listen, me, there's no point even second guessing or being annoyed about what this manager's doing. This manager's not going to change. You know what I mean? He's going to keep playing the 5 at the back. He's going to play it until the wheels fall off. That's what he's going to do. So all we can do is just pray that he gets the results, and any negative result, he's going to be out of it. And he has to be. So it is what it is, man. Yeah, Kobbie's not getting sold, Chrism, man. He's not getting sold. I don't know where this Kobbie getting sold is coming from. He's not. As I said before, Kobbie Mainoo is gonna thrive once this manager's gone. You know, it's more of a case of Kobbie just hanging in there. This manager clearly doesn't rate him. He clearly doesn't rate him, and it's one of them things where until this manager goes, Kobbie's not going to be playing regularly, unfortunately. So yeah, that's all it is. That is all it is, you know. But he's not going to be sold. He's not. He's a guy that's come through the academy. homegrown, you know, and if you're thinking about what players are in the first team from the academy, he's the only one. So they're not going to get rid of him. It's just a case of he has to keep. All he's got to do is bide his time until his manager goes. So that's all it is, man. And as Mike said, he gave Manu microwave minutes. Exactly, a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. Giving the guy 4 minutes. You know, well, it's 4 minutes that he got more than Joshua Zirkzee. So yeah, it's criminal, man. Absolutely criminal. Yeah, big up, Lumi. Big up. Listen, the way that I look at it, you know, if I'm getting abuse, it means I'm doing something right. Put it that way. So yeah, anyone that wants to come in with negative words or whatever, it's just words at the end of the day. You know, I can choose to ignore it. You know, but them guys are bringing traction to the channel, so let them keep hating. You know, it's one of them things. I hate United as I'm a Liverpool fan, but Gav seems to be rather fair with his views. Yeah, listen, man, I'm gonna be brutally honest. You know, I got nothing to hide. You know, my opinions on any team is my opinions, regardless if Liverpool are my rival team, etc. You know, or United are my team. You know, I just call it how I see it, and the way that I look at it, there's too many people, you know, that want to play a game or they want to appease other fans. I'm not here to appease anyone. If you don't like my opinions, you know what I mean, you're not forced to be on it. It's as simple as that. But I will never shut down other opinions. You know, I'll always hear what you got to say, and then I will rebuttal whatever opinions I said if I don't agree with it, and that's what it's about. So yeah, you're not forced to be here, man. If you don't like my opinions, it's as simple as that. Big up to Prince Azim. Prince Azim, you know. Big up Prince Azim. I'm guessing that's I ain't even too sure actually who that is. Who's Prince Azim? Guys, let me know who Prince Azim is. Says I removed that racist person. Should have kept him on there, man. You know what I mean? You never know, man. You never know what kind of day he's going through. You know, he might have had a bad day. Had a bad day. You know, his girl might have left him. You never know. So then people obviously can only release on channels like this. So should have kept him on there, man. It would have been a good entertainment for us. Big up to Kobe Goodwin as well. Big up Kobe for coming on. Lumi says, thoughts on Maresca doing 2 subs in the 5th minute and then Palmer in the 26th. So, yeah, I think Cole Palmer had an injury. I think he done something to his groin. I heard on the commentary. So I think Cole Palmer went off for injury. The 2 subs in Neto and William Esteval. I mean, it's difficult because on one hand, you're gonna say that's what a real manager does. You know, if things are not going real well or they're a man down, he makes two changes. You know, so some fans might look at that and think, you know what, I respect that. But I think this game came down to Robert Sanchez. I think Robert Sanchez has to be blamed for this because it's the. I would understand, yeah, if it was the 70th minute in the game and he done that. The fact it was the 6th minute into the game, and he made that decision, he's cost his team. Because, as I said, the worst case scenario is Brian Mbeumo going through and scoring. And at least you've got, you know, at least you've got about, what, 86 minutes to 84 minutes to rectify that. You know, with 11 against 11. But the fact that he put his team under that pressure and forced, really, Maresca to make them changes. If you're a Chelsea fan, if you're a Chelsea player, you have to point your blame at Robert Sanchez because that was unforgivable, personally, for me, you know. All right, it's Gamer. Big up, Gamer, man. Big up. I heard Manu and 40 million for Valverde. Never. That's never going to happen. Who come out with that? There's no way Brentford 1-0 up. Look at that. Mikel Damsgaard. Proving a problem, man. There's no way Real Madrid are gonna part with Valverde. This youngster's going mad. This Josh King. He's upset. What's happened there? Let me see this. Did he give the ball away? Yeah. That's poor. Yeah, that's poor. But yeah, listen, he'll learn. You know, I could do it now, guys. A nice little super malt. Could do with a nice little super malt, to be fair. Where's that racist guy? Is he in the chat still? I might drink a super malt for him. Nah, I'm only joking. I'll get a super malt in a minute, though. Kobe says, yo, I legit just watched the game. Big up, Kobe, man. Big up. As I said, there you go, guys. Super malt, man. Just like magic. But yeah, yeah, listen, Kobe, man. What did you think of the game? Because I don't think it was a great game, personally. You know, the game was ruined, let's be honest, within the first couple of minutes, as we spoke about just now. Lumi says, Maguire off made no sense at 2-0. Yeah, but we know with this manager, he likes to change defenders. You know, he's an absolute clown, this manager. I'm past moaning about what this manager's doing because at the end of the day, he's not going to change. He's going to keep doing his nonsense, and we just got to ride it out, man, until otherwise, unfortunately. Luke Colson says, "Is this Mbeumo? Great performance." Luke, I'm not sure what game you watched. If you think it was a great performance, then well done to you, man. But don't be surprised, man, when there's another when there's another loss around the corner, because there is, you know. But again, the standards need to be up, man, guys. Come on, up the standards. United were playing against 10 men. It wasn't a great performance, let's be honest. Yeah, listen, Valverde would be a great signing, but there's no way Real Madrid are going to part ways with Valverde. That's never going to happen. They're not going to do that. They're not going to part ways with Valverde to bring in Kobe Mino. They're not going to do that. Again, Valverde's their vice captain as well. And Valverde and 40 million for Mino is not going to happen. So let's just part that. Let's just part that. That's not going to happen. So Lumi says, Bruno kept taking away pressure by keeping the ball and progressing play successfully. I mean, the thing is, Lumi, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, shouldn't that just be the minimum requirement of a midfield player to keep the ball? Like, it's odd because the standards for me need to be a lot higher. You know, I'm not gonna get excited because Bruno Fernandes finally kept the ball and was because Bruno was finally keeping the ball for his team. I'm not gonna get excited over that. You know, again, against 10 men, that's what we have to realize. You know, if it was 11 against 11, I'm pretty sure that'd have been a different story. You know, I think him getting the goal, fair enough. You know, a good run. But I've seen Bruno Fernandes play all too often, and there's no part of me that's just gonna be satisfied because Bruno all of a sudden kept the ball. You know what I mean? It's easy to keep the ball away from the other team when the other team is down to 10 men. Like, if you've played football before, you know, anyone's played football before. If you're playing up against 10 men, you know, it's more of a training exercise in terms of keeping the ball. So I'm not really surprised that Bruno was keeping the ball when they were down to 10 men. What I see in that second half, when they were, you know, when they was 10 against 10, you know, it was an even game. It was. So, yeah. Cunha is a quality signing, very good with his feet. Yeah, Cunha's very good, man. He's got a lot to offer. You know, there was an instance in the game where he held the ball up and I can't remember who it was who he rolled. He rolled someone and then played it to, I can't remember who he played it to someone, and I think it almost got Ahmad in, but I think Ahmad was offside. So, but yeah, he's a top player, man. He's a top player, at Matthias Cunha, and there's no doubting when he plays, United are a better team. But when I'm seeing there's no Xerxes playing, it's an absolute joke for me personally, you know. This manager loves Bruno, he loves Mount, you know, and they're two of the players really that are playing ahead of Cunha in a sense, ahead of Xerxes in a sense. It's an absolute joke, man. Absolute joke. Absolute joke, you know, but is what it is. So Reece James looked great on the ball, but very poor off the ball today. You know what? Reece James to me is a quality player, but I don't think he had his best game, if I'm honest. I think with Reece James, we know his delivery is very good, but in terms of his game today, I've seen Reece James better, put it that way. There was sometimes he was losing his footing, sometimes making the wrong decision. I think there was an instance at the end of the game where he had a chance to put the ball in the box. I think there's like a minute left. And he tried to cut back and make a better angle. I think in that instance, sometimes just put the ball in the box because you never know what's going to happen, especially when there's little time left, you know. But Reece James a top player. I've always said when Reece James is fit, you know, I think he's the best right back in the world. You know, I think him and Hakimi for me are up there when he's fit. But the key for him is staying fit. But yeah, today I don't think he was great. Well, I say he wasn't great. I thought he was okay. But I've seen Reece James have better games personally. You know, so. Big up to Daniela as well. Big up for coming through. So Chelsea 2 wins in 6. This was what I was meant about CWC fatigue. You all thought I was crazy pre-season for saying that. Yeah, listen, I think the game against Brentford, I think, was poor the way they let that go. I think if we're looking at the game today, then listen, let's take that in isolation because that game was ruined by Robert Sanchez. So I'm not really looking at this Chelsea game today as Chelsea getting beat. Really, I know obviously, you know, in the books it's gonna say United beat Chelsea 2-1, but this game was ruined by Robert Sanchez. So I definitely think Chelsea. That's not a reflection of Chelsea today, in my opinion, because as I said, I think 11 against 11, it's a different game. So do you think Newcastle can pick up 3 points against Bournemouth tomorrow? Been a poor season so far for us. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, who's at home? Is Newcastle at home? Because Bournemouth are a good team under Iraola. I think if Newcastle at home, I think they might nick it. If they're away from home, you know, I can see a draw. You know, I think that game against Barcelona, you know, that would have taken a lot out of them. But I think, yeah, against Bournemouth, if they're at home against Bournemouth, I can see them nicking a 1-0 win. But if it's away from home, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a draw. You know, it's not going to be easy. So. Big up to, so 1626 says, please, yes, it was a win, but let me tell you that these players have United on millions every year and their passing is atrocious. Yeah, listen, it's not great, man. It's not great. I think, as you said, man, a win is a win, and that's what we have to kind of be happy with. But on the whole, you know, there is concerns there still. And as I said, Brentford are beating Fulham 1-0 right now, yeah? And Brentford are doing well. Next week against Brentford, is it next week? Or is it, I think it's next week, yeah. I'm telling you now, this Brentford game is not going to be easy. So we're going to see if United have, you know, improved or if it's the same old shit. Because as I said, I think today against the majority of 10 men in that first half, you know, you wouldn't have known that Chelsea were down to 10 men, really. You know, because United didn't really put them away. They got 2 goals, you know. Again, even Casemiro's goal, you can put that down to a mistake. You know, Reece James didn't clear the ball properly. And then they were all waiting for each other to head the ball out. And then Luke Shaw obviously come running in with a header. And then Casemiro got his header from there. So again, it was a bit of a mad game in terms of you know, what was actually going on, you know, which was all ruined by, as I said, Robert Sanchez, you know. So Man United have Brentford and Sunderland next. If they get 6 points, that will be very good for your team. Of course it will be. Do I think United get 6 points against Brentford and Sunderland? I'm not confident of that, you know. And again, people are going to be clamoring for Amorim to stay. And I just think this could be another mistake waiting. So this game, you know, he's got away with it. But let's see what happens. Ooh, unlucky. Unlucky. Alan O'Connor says, just like Luke Shaw when fit. Yeah, listen, Luke Shaw, man, it's crazy how Luke Shaw's been out injured and he's now become an automatic starter. You know what I mean? It's madness. It's madness. Yeah, it is crazy. But he's on a lot of money, so they got to justify that somehow, you know. Winston Churchill says, typical United fans get one win under their belts and now title challenges. But again, this is what I'm trying to say to you, Winston Churchill. The standards at this club are at a low, an all-time low. You know, there's no way I'll be getting excited that United have won this game, because United were fortunate to get the win. You know, as I've already mentioned. You know, I think, yeah, listen, get the win, move on, Brentford. But if there's any fans that are just gassing up this result, you know, they're part of the problem, man. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But big up. So, Alan says the best team won. It was 11 versus 11, but not playing fairly cost Chelsea. I mean, when you're saying the best team won, I mean, well, the result proves that, 2-1 to Man United. But in terms of, again, there's many factors. And the factors was that Robert Sanchez, their goalkeeper, was sent off. When Casemiro got sent off, the game that I saw, it was very even. So, but again, United got the win, and that's what matters. You know, that's what matters. So on to the next game. Sam says, "Come on, bro, we won, and you man are still upset." Sam, I'm not upset, man. I'm just realistic, you know, because when United get beat, you know, I want to see the same energy for when they get beat, because I've kept the same energy. There's no way I'm gonna be saying Amorim needs to stay. I'm not gonna do that. I've seen too much, and the way that I see it, if there's fans out there that think Amorim does now need to stay because of one result where there was, you know, many factors behind it, then this just shows why this club is at an all-time low. I think be happy with the result, fair enough, but there's bigger problems ahead, man. Like, and I think the standards at this club need to be kept, man. Let's be honest. Gav, if Amorim wins 3 to 4 in a row now, will you get behind him? No, I won't. No, I won't. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Do I think he's going to win 3 or 4 in a row? I don't. Again, the Brentford game will be his chance to win back-to-back games. But again, I've seen enough of Ruben Amorim. I've seen enough of his team selection on who he consistently plays. I've seen too much to know this manager ain't the manager for Manchester United. So I don't care if he wins 3 or 4 in a row. Do I think he wins 3 or 4 in a row? No. Do I think he beats Brentford, Sunderland, and Liverpool in a row? No. So my energy is going to remain the same. I'm not going to flip-flop after one result, because, you know, that'd be fake, put it that way. So, yeah, I'm not going to get behind him. Pause that one. Yeah, pause that one. I'm not going to rate this manager if he gets 3 to 4 wins. It's not going to happen. And as I said, he's still on borrowed time, you know. He's just survived another week for me. That's all it is. So Alan O'Connor, yeah, and this I'm trying to say to you. This is what I'm trying to say, guys, yeah. The fact that Alan O'Connor has come onto the channel and said Manchester United played better 11 versus 11. Someone tell Alan O'Connor, yeah, if he's still in the chat, that United played 11 against 11 for 6 minutes. How are you going to gauge United played better 11 versus 11 after 6 minutes, Alan? Come on, use your brain, man. Don't just come on there and talk nonsense, please. You know what I mean? United played better 11 versus 11. Like, it was for 6 minutes. You know what I mean? Talking about. So 40 Years Live says, would you like to do a collab with Rasta Stocks? I'm not sure who Rasta Stocks is. Who is that? I'm not sure who that is. Again, I'm up for talking football with anyone. If anyone wants to have a footballing conversation, you know, I'm up for that. I like dialogue, but I'm not sure who that is. Rasta Stocks. If he's in the chat, or tell him to DM me, or tell him to send me a message after the stream. I'm not sure who that is though. Do I think Chelsea will get 6 points in next two games? I think not. Who's Chelsea's next 2 games? Who's the next 2 games? That'll be more interesting. Yeah, big up to Crawley, man. Big up. Yeah, listen, the win's the most important thing. 3 points, because I couldn't sit with United being 17th in the league. But as I said, there's big things ahead, man. There's big improvements ahead. Who was your man of the match? Strange game, by the way. It was a strange game. My man of the match, again, it's hard to tell, man, because I don't think there was no standouts, really. Do you know what? I couldn't even tell you. That's how shit I thought the game was. There was no one that really stood out for me from either team. Like, who was Man United's best player? I couldn't tell you. You know, people might say Bruno. I don't think Bruno was the best player for United. I thought Dorgu was decent. De Ligt, as we know, De Ligt's very solid. But again, I think this is probably the first game I would say I can't actually tell you who was the best player for United, because that's how poor the game was. You know, I saw bits and pieces of good interchanging play from the team, but there was no one that really stood out. You know, and that's the problem. So I can't really tell you. Michael Loftus says you beat the club world champions. We did. So Lumi says Chelsea won't finish top 4. I can see why you're saying that. I mean, I'm still gonna say it's early days, but yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, I'm still gonna say Chelsea will get top 4. I know the last 2 Premier League games have been poor, but I'm still gonna say they're gonna be in with a shout. Good finish, 1-1. Alex Iwobi, great finish. 1-1. Yeah, I'm still gonna say Chelsea finish in the top 4. You know, but again, it's a long way to go, guys. I think, you know, this remember, as everyone knows, you know, this Premier League season is a marathon, not a sprint. So there's a long way to go. So I'm just looking at the chat, man. Some mad people up in there. Derek Martin is on a madness. At the moment, Chelsea will finish higher than Man United. Well, yeah, obviously. I can tell you this now. Chelsea will finish higher than United this season. Like, especially if Ruben Amorim's in charge. I'll tell you that for free. So, yeah. But, guys, let me know what you think of today's game. I'm going to give you another 5 minutes before we wrap up. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Is it going to come down to the Brentford and Sunderland game for Ruben Amorim? Because as we know, 3 games. The first one, he's got over that hurdle. But for me, he has to carry this on and win both them games. And again, I'm not going to change my mind, guys. I still believe he has to get sacked. There's no one game that's going to make me feel that this manager has to stay. He has to go still, yeah? So I'm going to remain consistent. But what I will say is he's give himself a survival chance. You know, survival. Oh, what a goal. What a finish. Harry Wilson. What a finish. All right, Fulham, man. Great goal. Great goal. Great passing move. So yeah, as I said, yeah, there's no one game that's gonna make me forget about what Ruben Amorim's done. You know, I think the one positive, he's now got an extra win, so he's got 9 wins in 8 months, which is poor still. His win percentage will go up, but again, let's not get carried away, guys. Let's not carried away. Gav, how's your Saturday night looking? Do you know what? I'm just watching this Fulham Brentford game. I'm gonna chill tonight, you know. Get up early tomorrow, go to the gym, etc. So yeah, it's gonna be a nice quiet one for me tonight. Just a chilled one. What's yours looking like? Chrism says not until the 1st of November can United get rid of Amorim. Says who? Says who, Chrism? I think Amorim will keep winning the odd game to keep him like has happened before. And again, Michael, if that's the case, this team ain't going nowhere because that's unacceptable. If he's beaten Chelsea and he goes to Brentford and gets beat and then draws against Sunderland, let's say, that's unacceptable. So I don't really want to be hearing that. I don't really want to be hearing that. You know, for me to half change my mind, you know, which is going to take a lot, he has to go on like a 5-game winning streak, you know, and start playing some of these other players as well. So can I believe he does that? No. He's got a chance to break his duck, though, winning back-to-back games against, if he beats Brentford. So, but again, people need to realise that this game was turned on its head by Robert Sanchez. Because I tell you this now, if Robert Sanchez doesn't get sent off, Chelsea don't lose that game for me. And I'm going to stick by that. So, who would you replace? Who would you get in to replace him? Iraola, Glasner, Xavi, Zidane, the Zerbi. Just get me a manager that wants to play the best players and play good football. Simple as that. Yeah, 12 million payoff if he's sacked. Yeah, United got the money, man. They got the money to sack him. Like, again, he's not going to walk away from 12 million, but they've got the money to sack him. So, yeah. Mine's chilled, but with a bottle of Shiraz. I saw Ed Sheeran saying he loves a Butlins weekend. That reminded me of yours. I don't know what you're talking about, Lumi. That's the wrong person. I'm the wrong guy. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. And United haven't got 12 million to be able to sack him. How do you know that, Chrism? How do you know United haven't got 12 million? Because I can assure you they have, you know. Oh, penalty. Nah, booking him for diving. Booking him for diving. Let me see this. Yeah, he dived. Yeah, he dived. Right, guys, couple of more questions or comments, and then I'm going to wrap up. But big up yourselves for coming on. Again, if you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do. And make sure you you sub to the channel as well. So Lumi says, I thought you lacked energy tonight, especially considering Chelsea played 3 days ago. Do you know what? It's hard to tell because when you're up against 10 men, you're always going to dominate the game, really. You know, I think once United got the first goal, I think it came up on Sky Sports, they said that the possession was actually 50-50, which is concerning. But as I said, yeah, it's one of them things where it's hard to tell, man, if United lack the energy, because playing up against 10 men in that first half, you know, you're always going to be in control, really. So, yeah, it was hard to tell for me, you know, but yeah, Chelsea will be kicking themselves. But again, they'll be more annoyed at Robert Sanchez for making that decision. You don't do that after 6 minutes into the game. You don't do that, man. You're costing your team there. Costing your team. When are you getting monetized? Hopefully very soon. Hopefully very soon. Big up to Prince Azim. But guys, listen up. I'm going to wrap up anyway. Big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. Yeah, many Chelsea fans want Maresca out, which is crazy considering he has won trophies. Yeah, but again, that's high standards for Chelsea. This is what United need to be adopting. You know, if we're looking at even Man United and Arsenal can look at Chelsea, you know, as the measuring stick, because, you know, Arsenal got a manager that's been there for 7 years. That's won one FA Cup without his team. United are hanging on to this Ruben Amorim. So I think it's one of them things that we can look at Chelsea, you know, as a team that keeps the standards high. So yeah, listen, if they want Maresca out after winning trophies, it just shows the standards that club has. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, guys, big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Big up to all the mods. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. Yeah, tomorrow, Arsenal versus Man City. I might do a match reaction to that one. I'm not sure yet. So Lumi says, Gav, Arsenal will draw tomorrow. You know what, Lumi? I think City win tomorrow. I think City going to win. I think City win the game tomorrow. I think it might be like a 1-0 or a 2-1. But I think City win the game tomorrow. So yeah, listen, I might do a match reaction to that tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But as I said, guys, big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Smash the like button on the way out. Make sure you sub to the channel as well. And as I said, yeah, I'll catch you guys probably tomorrow. Take it easy.